Hello, my kings and queens. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe so you can join my king and queens and be a part of my palace. Today I wanted to come back and let you guys know that I'm going to be officially back on YouTube. I know it's been such a long time since I posted, but I'm planning on posting every Tuesday and Thursday for the rest of the month of December. Today I'm going to be talking about the 6 most mysterious unsolved crimes of the US. And if you know me, you know I love mysteries. So I thought this was just the perfect video to kick up my channel and start it all over. I'm gonna be planning on making more videos because now me and Mark, my boyfriend, have our own place. So I want to do like an apartment tour, some pranks. Shh, don't tell him I said that. And definitely get my YouTube going. So like I said before, I'm going to post every Tuesday and Thursday for the full month of December. So I hope you guys are having a super good December so far. I know I am. I have my Christmas spirit on, my Santa Claus socks. I have my tree up. I have my elf in the background, my elf chair. So without further ado, let's get into the video. So, the 6 most mysterious cases that are unsolved. I am so ready for this video because I love talking about crime. I love talking about mysteries. I love talking about all of the above. So it's really great. So just remember, like I said earlier, don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, share, turn on those post notifications so you get notified every Tuesday and Thursday when I post. So let's get into this. So mystery number 1. Jack the Ripper. Now I know I said US. I know this is not in the US, so maybe these are just like, I just looked up some cases that are unsolved. I don't know if they're all in the US, so pardon me if they're not. But this is definitely a case that I really like. I know Mark likes this case as well, so I wanted to tell you guys about it. I'm gonna take a sip before I get started. This is gonna be all raw, uncut, unedited. Maybe a little editing here and there if I mess up because I sometimes don't know how to read. But definitely raw footage. Okay, so London's most notorious serial killer prowled the East End over a century ago, preying on prostitutes and terrorizing the area. He made his mark as Jack the Ripper by killing and mutilating at least 5 women. Dread grew as the bodies began to pile up near each other within a 3-month period in 1888. The neighborhood was horrified to a degree bordering on panic when news broke of a second female victim. The Morning Post reported at the time. The local newspaper called the killing barbarous and said the manner of murder was too horrible for description. Local authorities at first wondered whether the suspect was a butcher or a doctor due to his signature and gory method of murder and his skill with a knife. The victims of the so-called Whitechapel murders, Mary Ann Nichols, Annie Chapman, Elizabeth Stride, Catherine Eddowes, and Mary Jane Kelly, all had their throats slashed, and most of them had their stomachs slit and organs ripped out before being dumped on the streets, according to author Dave Yost, who explored the 5 deaths in his book Elizabeth Stride and Jack the Ripper. The FBI, which analyzed the case in 1988 at the behest of the movie production company, said each victim was known to be a heavy drinker and a prostitute. So keep that in mind. They were all targeted because they were readily accessible. They were killed swiftly in the early morning hours. Even with all eyes on the case, police were never able to put a face on the killer. The FBI said local investigators were stymied, I don't know what the heck that means. Let me know down below. Because Forensic technology and other advanced means of thoroughly investigating homicides were non-existent at the time. The National Archives obtained letters exchanged between different law enforcement bosses in 1888 that depict overwhelmed police departments. Charles Warren, who was the chief commissioner of the Metropolitan Police at the time, asked for help from the City of London Police. We are inundated with suggestions and names of suspects, Warren wrote. Countless historians and criminologists, both amateur and professional, have speculated on the killer's identity, but it appears Jack the Ripper took that secret to the grave. So, clearly here, they would never found out who Jack the Ripper was. All we knew is that he terrorized women. He went for prostitutes and heavy drinkers because of the fact that they were super easy to go after, because they were looking for some moolah. But, do you think it was because they were prostitutes that he was killing them? But he was killing them in a very gory manner. Something that, you have to be willing to, you want to be a killer in order to kill him that way, right? Now we're on to story number 2. The Black Dahlia. Now this is a story that a lot of people know about because of how just crazy this case is. I have a lot of loss of words about how crazy this case is. We will get into that in a second. The Black Dahlia's grisly death captured headlines. The sight stopped a mother and her child in their tracks. A naked woman lying feet from the sidewalk. She was sliced cleanly in half at the waist, with not one drop of blood in her or on her. The now infamous slaying of 22-year-old Elizabeth Short instantly captured headlines in 1947, with newspapers later dubbing her the Black Dahlia, in part because she had dark-colored hair and an apparent preference for black clothing. Short, a Massachusetts native who had come to California in pursuit of fame, was bled dry before being dumped in an empty lot in a residential area of LA, authorities said. Her body appeared professionally dissected and one breast was cut off, according to FBI records. It is unclear how the aspiring actor met such a grisly fate. Several dozens of people have claimed credit for the high-profile crime. The FBI, which helped local authorities investigate at the time, said it ran records checks on potential suspects and conducted interviews across the nation. However, none of the confessors appeared to be telling the truth. The case has gone unsolved. People were confessing to this case because of the fact that people were probably just trying to find the killer so bad that they were making people confess, but clearly they were all lying. So like they said, the case has gone unsolved. LA Police Department told Time recently that it is still investigating the cold case. Although it did not provide any details, it's an unsolved case. LAPD officer Norma said, "There's no additional information per the detectives." Yet, I don't know when this article was written, but they do say that there were some recordings in a hotel that she was in, that she took up one last phone call before passing away, and yet nobody knows who she was calling or why she was on the phone with that specific person, but they still don't know who it was. What if that was the killer? This is such a case that's so wide and nationwide known, yet they don't know a killer? That's insane to me. Mystery number 3. The Zodiac Killer taunted police with clues. The Zodiac Killer was no ordinary murderer. Rather than avoiding the spotlight, he craved media attention and seemed to enjoy taunting the police with cryptic notes and clues that he left a trail of death behind him. This man would leave clues for the police, yet they still never found out who he was. The Zodiac Killer murdered 5 people, seemingly at random, in Northern California in 1968 and 1969. He claimed in letters to police that there were dozens more victims, although that was never confirmed. His deadly rampage began in December 1968 when 2 teenagers were shot to death in a parking lot. About 7 months later, another 2 people were shot in a parked car, although 1 survived. That's when local newspapers started getting letters from someone anonymously claiming to be responsible for the slayings. According to the San Francisco Examiner, which had received the cryptic notes, the newspapers said that the letters contained coded messages explaining the killer's motive as well as the key to help readers decipher his identity. This was the Zodiac speaking. He wrote in an August letter, "I like killing people because it is so much fun," he added, according to FBI records. It is more fun than killing wild game in the forest because man is the most dangerous animal of all." Authorities did not crack the code revealing his name, and the Zodiac Killer went on to stab 2 more people in late September. One of his victims survived and the other one died. About 2 weeks later, the killer struck again, fatally shooting his 29-year-old taxi driver, according to the Examiner. Days later, the Zodiac mailed a piece of his latest victim's bloody shirt to the Chronicle newspaper. To this day, no suspects have been confirmed in the case, and the San Francisco Police Department said the investigation is ongoing. Now, this story is insane because of the fact that the Zodiac Killer was so famous and so worldwide known. A lot of people tried to claim they were the Zodiac Killer or try to, what's it called when you, try to be somebody? Basically they were acting like they were the Zodiac Killer or they were copying what he was doing. And I think that's insane and that's terrifying because I really never found out who he was. I mean, it's so it was so back then that this person's probably passed away. Even if he got, he is free or he's very old. So, I mean, this man is still maybe even a walking man out there. You never know. So it's just a little crazy to think because, who knows where this man is, and who knows if it was a man, who knows if it was a female, who knows? I mean, it's just crazy. On to number 4 and 5. So these stories are both, I think they're all one. Yes. So these 2 stories are both 4 and 5. So it's titled, Rappers Tupac Shakur and the Notorious BIG, Biggie, were gunned down 6 months apart. Now, a lot of people believe that Tupac is still alive to this day, although I don't know. I mean, we never will know. But, a lot of people say he goes around the number 7, I think it is. And I'm all about the subliminal messages and things, and I think that he really was trying to leave a message that he possibly could still be alive. I mean, there's just so much mystery behind these cases, and especially the 2 of them being killed 6 months apart. Who really killed them is the question. So here we go. Story number 5 and 6. The music world was rocked in the late 1990s when rap superstars Tupac Shakur and the Notorious Biggie were gunned down within 6 months apart. The killings came at the moment marked by intense rivalry between their competing record labels. Both rappers were top artists for their record companies. Many said the murders were assigned music feuds had gone too far. Shakur was killed first in a drive-by shooting in LA on September 13, 1996. At the time, the 25-year-old superstar's Death Row record label had been feuding with its competitor, Bad Boy. 6 months later, Bad Boy's Christopher Wallace, better known as the Notorious Biggie Smalls, or Biggie, was killed in a similar fashion. The rapper was fatally shot in a drive-by as he was leaving a music industry party in LA. Excuse me. The two superstars had been friends when both signed under Bad Boy, according to the FBI, which investigated Biggie's murder but closed the case in 2005. The pals grew distant after Tupac landed in jail over convictions that included rape, and Biggie rose in popularity. Tupac later switched over to Death Row, which is another recording label. It's unclear whether the rivalry played a role in either killing. Both cases stumped police in part because of uncooperative witnesses. The murder mysteries amassed their own collection of theories, including an unproven one that claims both rappers are still alive and faked their own deaths. Family and friends of the megastars are still mourning. In March, on the 20th anniversary of Biggie's death, Sean Diddy Combs paid tribute to his late friend in an Instagram video. "On this day, we're going to reflect on him because we miss him," he said. "And 20 years later, time heals all wounds, but this one ain't healed yet." Do you believe that something had to do between Biggie and Tupac? Do you believe that whoever killed them was a part of their record label? That's why I always wonder. And do you believe that Tupac is even alive, or do you believe that he's dead? That is some mystery. We're on to number 6, the final and last mystery. This is one that you will definitely know the name of when you hear it, and this is also one that is worldwide known because of the fact that it's so insane and so mysterious that who knows who the killer could be. Many people want to claim that they're the killer. Many people just, I guess they want the fame for being the killer because of this person. This little girl was so worldwide known that when she passed away, it was a tragedy for everyone. This is a story of JonBenet Ramsey, who was found dead in her family home. JonBenet, a beauty pageant winner, had been discovered beaten and strangled with duct tape placed on her mouth and throat on the day after Christmas in 1996. This was already disturbing enough to draw national attention, but JonBenet's own family quickly fell under scrutiny, and many who had followed the story began to speculate on whether her parents were somehow involved. JonBenet's mother, Patricia, told police she woke up early that morning to find her daughter missing. When she called 911 to report the kidnapping, she said she found a nearly 3-page ransom note demanding $118,000. Hours later, JonBenet's father, John, told police he discovered his daughter's body in the basement. And autopsies determined that JonBenet died of asphyxiation, which is strangulation, basically, losing air, caused by strangulation. There you go. According to the Denver Post, her death was ruled out a homicide. The Ramseys immediately fell under a cloud of suspicion, but no one was ever charged in the connection with JonBenet's death. Her parents addressed the speculation for the first time during an interview with CNN in January. John Ramsey said the suggestion that his family was behind the crime was nauseating beyond belief. According to the Post, "I did not kill my daughter," he told reporters again in May. 20 years later, Boulder police said that the investigation is still open, although officials declined to comment on the case. "Our goal continues to be an arrest and successful prosecution," Boulder Police Chief Greg Testa said last fall. "We have not and will not give up." A recent 20th anniversary of JonBenet's death was met with a wave of major network specials, and new documentaries explored the potential suspects. JonBenet's brother, Burke Ramsey, also spoke out for the first time. The 29-year-old said that on Dr. Phil that he burst into tears when he first found out his sister was dead. "My dad told me JonBenet is in heaven now, and he started crying, and then I started crying," Burke Ramsey said. "I was kind of like, how is that possible? I started crying. I don't think I said anything. I just didn't believe it at first." So this case, as well as with the Tupac and all these other cases, is very intriguing to me because of the fact that nobody knows who stole her, and the fact that a lot of people, there was this man in jail who claimed to be her murderer, but yet how is that possible? Because, you know, it just doesn't make sense that this little girl went missing out of nowhere and then she was found in their own home. Didn't hear a squeal, didn't hear a scream, didn't hear a sound until they found her body in the basement, already dead. That makes zero sense, because I feel like if you're getting kidnapped as a child, a 6-year-old child, you would scream, you would like make some noise. And the fact that they're asking for $118,000 ransom makes zero sense. And yet, she's in their basement. What do you think about that? I hope you all enjoyed the story with me. I definitely enjoyed telling them, and I definitely hope to do this some more. Let me know if you guys want me to keep doing this, like by liking the video, and I'll definitely know, and I'll definitely keep doing them. I'll try to like investigate cases that are not so well known. That way you guys can learn something new, because I know you probably heard of these. But definitely like, comment, and subscribe, you know? Like, I'm definitely happy to be back on YouTube. Woo, woo. And I'm also writing a book at the moment, so I'm working on that as well. So I definitely am going to be focusing on these both on YouTube and writing as well. And like I said in the beginning of the video, if you stayed this long, thank you. But I will be posting every Tuesday and Thursday, and hopefully get a little better at talking, because clearly I cannot speak today. But yes, don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. Thank you all. Mwah.